My mother is supposed to meet Zeruiah's parents, but she's having some type of a spiritual attack.
Hello and welcome to Lawd Lukan. It's time to be very demure, very mindful with some more Love After Lockup. Christine is having some vegetable-based withdrawals.
Oh my god, I'd love some avocado right now.
Shonta doesn't want to be True's friend anymore.
You don't want to be my friend?
No.
True himself has got some big old bad news coming. Bianca's back to irritate us.
Your dad asked me if I'm mentally unstable.
And Karen assembles her marvels.
Celebrate the day.
Good day, bonsoir, and que pasa. Welcome to the channel. Big huge loves to the beautiful people who have subscribed. And some letters from Zhu Mengfu to the members of the Lukan Manor. First dally down the yellow brick path is for Amy and Troy, who brought a plantain to a banana convention, and last week Karen was dosing herself up on gummies to deal with the anxiety of going to church.
Took me 2 gummies. I'll be high as hell. She took the gummies.
And while she slowly lost her mind, she also managed to lose her knickers.
I got a problem because I ain't got no panties.
So why then are the film crew taking these bending over shots? Do we really need to bear witness to Karen's OG kush? So this week they're at church enjoying a delightful sermon from our Henry.
Talk to myself. Oh, out. And I answer. Go. Talk to myself. Go. Out. And I answer. Go.
And it's all becoming a bit much for Karen, who is starting to switch from distraught to dysfunctional every other second.
Your mother's fine. She's having a breakdown right now. Like, seriously.
But Professor Troy seems to have pinpointed the issue and is hoping it won't interfere with the good impression that he's attempting to make.
My mother is supposed to meet Zeruiah's parents, but she's having some type of a spiritual attack.
Spiritual attack, yeah, you could say that. You could also say that Woodstock was a spiritual massacre. Look at those poor people suffering. I wonder if that Amy was about to have an attack of the old spirituals just before she got arrested the other day in the, that zoo thing. One eye's in jail, the other's out in bail. So anyway, Karen's having a whale of a time.
Gummy weed attack.
But all this upbeat God-loving is a bit too much for our Karen, and whilst Henry shifts up a gear... I think we could shift a little higher than that, can we?
See, there they go with all that racket.
And now we sneak off to munch on some candies with the Shonta and True. And this week, True is mostly being mystified by social situations. Having left a Shonta in a puddle of despair last episode, True's decided to use that amazing diplomacy to try and, I'm not actually sure what he's trying to achieve here.
I'm finna pull up on her and see what she doing.
He successfully dumped her unceremoniously, got a bunch of stuff off her, plus he's still got a load of cash he'd stashed away while he was inside, so why doesn't he just walk away? Let her go. The Shonta did a fair share of cash fishing and is responsible for her own brilliant choices, but now she's taking a bit of an emotional battering from an insensitive man-child. And then she'll have thousands of people like me saying, yeah, well, it's your own fault. You and your stupid hopes and dreams. I mean, who even has those anymore? But I do actually feel slightly bad that's just to play back her downfall. That's gotta hurt. Maybe we should set her up with one of the other people from the show. Studs like Julien and Troy may be taken, but what about her season of Love During Lockup? That guy who got stitched up by the prostitute from Las Vegas. I don't know. That forgettable guy. Let's ask Google. That forgettable guy from Lalu. Ah, that's him. Andrew. She should get with him. He was loyal and, clean or picky. Or we could have a crossover with 90 Day and she could have Scott. They could compare dental work. Anyway, let's go see how Shonta is handling the breakup.
Whoa, career.
I don't know, something about her ear? I can never understand what she's saying. But luckily, my man stinks are telling me that she's fine. Probably got a cold or something. And when she says f***ing career, she doesn't mean f***ing career. She means the f***ing career she left because she couldn't be with an ex-con. Anywho, the plot has decided that True has to keep milking this scene for as long as possible. Plus his sister isn't picking him up for another 20 minutes. So while he's waiting, he may as well go and ham-fistedly make the situation worse.
Dude, no, get in this car.
Listening, my dear viewer, what are the top things people like about people? Good job. Now, the little thing said True 31. Sure, if you cut him in half and count the rings, yeah, I'm sure he's 31. But slice his head in two and you'll get...
Is mayonnaise an instrument? No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument.
Actually, I think Shonta is probably more of a starfish, you know what I mean? So True tries his little hardest and opts for the go-to commiseration line that all 12-year-olds, 30-year-old big old van-sized people go for.
We could be friends.
I don't want to be your friend.
You don't want to be my friend?
No.
Yeah, you could hang out at recess, she could give you all her Twinkies and you could show her your G.I. Joe, whilst the Repo Man's kid is pretending to evict her from her imaginary properties. But Shonta doesn't want to play Kiss Chase anymore. Oh, Kiss Chase, is that a transnational thing? Anyway, I don't know, it's Shonta and stuff.
What do you want from me?
Now you can see him carefully considering his answer. I do think he's genuinely mystified by her reaction. Nothing challenges a man's tiny mind like a woman in the process of a meltdown. Other tiny minds belong to creepy Kim and Shakira. Last episode, Shakira had gone out mysteriously and we're supposed to think he's gone to see a man about some spiritual attacking. And that he's just up to no good. Of course he's up to no good. He's got those unnecessarily high sideburns going on. I know, I'm always going on about that being a big red flag. But let's see who else shaves their sideburns that high. See, this guy. And he was a very naughty boy.
He's a very naughty boy!
And this guy, though, say what you like about Kim, he's got his fade going on. Back to Kim's, and she's doing the whole passive-aggressive. Look at me slaving away while you're busy being sketchy.
What are y'all doing?
Dishes.
Dishes? Do you mean those 2 plates in the sink? She even gives him the shaky head. I can't believe you have to ask. Clearly I'm working my badly chosen lingerie off. And while she does that, Joey's niece Savannah has come over to talk about herself.
First of all, in 6th grade, I found one of your
That act overly dramatic for the camera.
my life, for me. I didn't lie. I just want to know this.
Joey is clearly feeling it too.
How she feels makes me really emotional.
Okay, well, he does have the emotional range of an ambivalent goldfish, but he could at least try to wear a little concern. Anyway, a bunch more who cares happens, and they drag us kicking and screaming to a Bianca segment. Ugh, bloody hell, Bianca. Okay, guys, we can get through this together. We'll just tell her we need to leave early because of the traffic, and it'll all be fine. Right. Let's get this over with.
Your dad asked me if I'm mentally unstable.
Well, I like the dad suddenly. Bianca had a tantrum because Daniel's dad asked the question we all wanted answers, but were too afraid to ask. Like, does Florida have a Section 5150? Well, kind of. They have something called the Baker Act. And did you know that there's more than one kind of 5150? There's a 5250, a 5270, 52300, etc. The bigger the number, the longer they're allowed to keep you involuntarily. Don't know why I brought that up. Oops, sorry, wrong slip. Hold on. There we go.
Okay, so you agree that it was weird, right?
There is only one right answer to this question. Now, do we think Daniel possesses the tact and diplomacy to handle her? Let's see.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him.
Not bad. Could have been a bit more sincere with the, oh no, I'll talk to him.
I'll have to talk to him.
Maybe should have played that with a bit more outrage. You know, a bit more like this. He said, what? My missus? Mad as a menstruating honey badger? Nah, it'll be fine. So her friend Gary, or whatever her name is, gives Bianca a dozen good reasons why she should reconsider what she's doing. And Bianca, as I'm sure you know, is loaded from a car crash payout. And the friend is just looking out for her friend's best interests.
I think Haley's being dramatic. I'm gonna experience a lot more than she has in her life. So I think she's honestly jealous.
Of course she is. Bianca's so bitterly self-assured. No one cares that you're dating an inmate, and frankly, it doesn't give you the big girl badge that you think it does. She's got entitled daddy's girl about her. Someone that just wants to update their status with something edgy. So what if her mate doesn't leave her town? It's only about 3 miles from Hollywood, so you could argue there's enough adventure and spiritual attacking already going on. Maybe she's smart enough to know what experiences are worth experiencing. Terry Pratchett once said that wisdom comes from experience, but experience is often the result of a lack of wisdom.
Too late.
Yeah.
I sent him marriage papers.
But luckily for him, or her, I don't know, he didn't want to sign them.
I consider us engaged. I don't know if he feels the same.
She's wondering why he didn't sign the papers. Over now to Julien, those unnaturally high sideburns, and Christine. There's not much to say about them, really. They just set off my tangents with this comment.
And obviously I'm going to mess with pepperoni rolls because they don't have them in Maryland.
Hang on a second. First of all, I had no idea that the state dish of West Virginia is pepperoni rolls. Apparently because they used to give them to the miners. You know, the ones in the holes, not on the islands.
Wish politicians Look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere.
Secondly, don't you worry your wobbly little head about that. I can't believe that the entire state of Maryland, which owns some of the biggest food challenges, include a 76-ounce steak, doesn't make pepperoni rolls. So let's hit the road and head to Maryland to find somewhere. How about this? Frank's in Van Dyke Manor, or the Deli in Blue Ball Village. But they don't sell them in Crapo, because that's just empty-o. Back now to Amy and Troy, who brought a twig to a branch convention to see what the hell is going on now.
I'm high. I want to get out this damn dress.
Moving on swiftly to Shonta and True again. And I'm just gonna drop this here.
I'm pregnant.
Huh?
Oh yeah! Just when he thought he'd made a clean escape, say hello to the next 18 years, my friend. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. More of that shortly, but WeTV wanted us to go and see creepy Kim and Shakira. Fine. So Kim's dad has popped over, and he hates Shakira, because he, allegedly, stole a dirt bike about 20 years ago. What do we know about the dad? Well, we know he's got pro-parenting moves. Just watch this. Did you see it? Well, I'm guessing some dads may have spotted it. One more time, then I'll slow it down and show you what I'm talking about. Oh yes, the classic. Kid runs at you full pelt and comes in knees first to the groin area. But this is a guy who's been to Blue Ball Village a few times and has his defenses down. Kid comes in hot. Granddad's hands go to the waist, but not that backhand. See that? That's gone to the front of the hip, creating a buffer. Therefore, kid lands safely with knees between legs, not in family jewels. A masterclass in testicle preservation. In other news, Joey decided to propose.
I love you, baby.
Romantically in the kitchen. Nice. And everyone has their own expression for just such an occasion. Dad's expression says, I'm sucking lemons. Mum's expression says, an afternoon on the box wine and antidepressants. And Kim's, well, it sort of says that she's doing 5Gs in a centrifuge. But this isn't the first time Shakira's made this commitment.
The first time I proposed, I mean, it was really special, but I mean, it was in a prison.
Special. I guess that if your concept of special is based on the idea that it's fairly rare, let's see, shall we? Now, in the US, you have a 1 in 1,666 chance of getting married in prison. And there's around 200,000 marriages a year, or the same amount of people in Tallahassee, Florida. So if we compare the other things that affect a couple of 100,000 people a year, then it's slightly less special than dying of an aneurysm. Ooh, and while we're on causes of death, some honourable mentions go to the 2 people that were killed by vending machines last year, and the 75 that were killed by lawnmowers. Here's a fun little quiz for you, my dear pumpkin. Which of these things killed the most Americans in 2022? Death by selfie, death by marauding toddler, or death by serial killer? Well, death by selfie and death by being inadvertently shot by a toddler both claim 2 lives. I wonder if there's a separate category for those who did it intentionally. However, an estimated 67 people were killed by serial killers. And if you look at all the rest of the stats, we can see that you are twice as likely to be killed by your 3-year-old than you are to be trampled to death on Black Friday. Marginally interesting. Right, back to Mama Shonta and True. I wonder how True's gonna take the news about this baby.
Not 1 baby, but 2 babies? What?
It's twins, a boy and a girl. Now, I haven't broke this out in a while, but it does seem like a special occasion. You know, like an actual special occasion. You know, not like a wedding in prison special. I was going to mention that Shonta's 9-year-old daughter is also pregnant, which will mean that in the next few months, there'll be 3 children under 6 months running around the house. But she says she wanted the babies.
I realized with or without True, I wanted this.
I guess she just wanted to add them to the collection of 4 that she's already got. And I'm sure she's doing a great job there. The daughter does have an unusual shape to her bump, though. It's a bit like a big 3rd boob. Time to circle back to Bianca. Sorry about that.
Like, I always feel better when I, talk to you.
Yeah, super happy.
I don't want to cry.
Flinging ourselves back to Julien and Christine. And Christine, who is wearing one of those neck things all the girls wore in the 90s, has arrived in Julien's passion pad.
Ta-da!
Oh my gosh!
Ta-da! And an oh my god. There must be something special to behold in there. Now, before we do the big reveal, imagine in that beautiful head of yours an interior by this guy. Ready? Okay, here we go.
I love it!
Yep, that's pretty much what you'd expect. It's like someone vomited up a kid's bedroom from the 80s and attempted to scatter some cushions around. No to the tacky 80s style generic sunset and boat picture. And guys just don't get cushions. To the men watching, This is not doing cushions. I'm sure he must have Googled, how do I make my crappy sofa look less crappy? And Google said, chuck some throws and cushions about the place. Then this is what he created. Creative. This is how you do cushions. And there isn't such a thing as too many. And you do need to dig your way through several dozen pillows when you get into bed. What a quick glimpse at how anal I am. Anal. This annoys me. Just make the damn thing sit properly in the corner, for God's sake. Also, this space must feel really hectic and he probably doesn't know why. Well, as soon as you walk in, you're greeted with the back of the TV, a wonky unit and a bunch of what looks like, I don't know, plastic frogs. Get a bloody corner unit, something in oak or pine to give that natural warmth, and go with the laminated flooring he's got. And sort this wall out. It's a massive surface that confronts you when you walk in. Cover it in natural stone or reclaimed wood. Add some brass fittings, make it a feature, not the stupid yacht thing, because with that people might ask, so, do you like boats? And he'll say, nope, I like writing novels. So why the hell do you have a yacht? And if you say you were manifesting it, I might just have to vomit on the corduroy. Get some large prints of your favourite book covers. And maybe some smaller images of manuscripts in black frames. The natural wood palette would tie in the nasty beige sofa, making it less offensive by proxy. So for a couple $100, you could wallpaper that with the faux stone. Get some cool lighting. Buy an unnecessarily large amount of cushions. Sort it. And get rid of that plastic-coated plywood thing. One of the first things we see. Then what do we get? Oh, God knows. It just looks like a bunch of crap. Although the nerd in me knows that this is Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. So we can either get rid of all this rubbish, or we can get some of that vinyl of the various wooden stone effects. Cover all that up. And why not add some damn books, Mr. Writer-Man? Your living room should be about your passions and pleasures. And we're getting all the excitement of potatoes and gravy. Anyway, enough of that. Julien now has to tackle the subject of his kids. And there's a pretty scary proviso.
Chris hasn't met my kids yet. That can't happen until she's met my ex-wife.
Why does that sound like we're about to meet Anne Robinson? Actually, I can see him with Anne Robinson. Or, Nancy Pelosi. Actually, I'm quite surprised he's got kids at all. So, if she's not met the kids yet, or the foreboding wife, they've had to come up with a plan to avoid the meeting.
The plan is to have you upstairs when they're here.
Okay, so the amazing plan is to go all Anne Frank on them and hide on the top floor. Okay, well, I suppose it wouldn't be too bad, I guess. I mean, how often do they come round?
Mondays, Tuesdays, and then every other weekend.
So on 1 week, she'd be allowed out for 3 days, and the next she'd be allowed out for 5 days. So for 6.4 months of the year, she'll have to stay in her room. That's not at all like being imprisoned. And that's not all that Julien has to tell her.
I've got this secret that I'm not sharing with anyone.
Yeah, but I bet it's not going to be that exciting. It'll be, I'm not actually a Pentecostal. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Or maybe you'd like to be called Susan and wear stilettos on a Thursday night. But I think Christine is becoming aware that something is afoot. And having recently grasped the difference between arse and elbow, she's on a roll.
Trying to hide me or something for everyone?
Nah, he hides everyone he loves in the attic. And if they don't put the lotion on, they get the hose again. And next, prepare yourself. We're about to enter the inner sanctum. We've been granted access to where the moonlight and music meet the love and romance.
This is the master bedroom.
Now, I'm not going to go full interior on his posterior this time, but am I the only one who's slightly curious as to what the lair of the Julien might look like? Probably.
Here.
Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, barely. That shadeless bulb at the middle of the room gives that kind of interrogation feel, and the bed looks as uncomfortable as a concrete slab with rigor mortis. But look at those corners. Get your protractors out for those bad boys. All the crap all over the place is Christine's stuff, so we can't give him grief for that. So anyway, he wants her to get a job. She's horny, and no one cares. Speaking of no one caring, they stick in another Bianca bit. Skip. Last stop is at the door of a Shonta and True. In my last video, I said, True thinks he's won the battle, but he's not won the war. Well, you'd better put the troops in the boots, because a Shonta's bringing ballistics.
True, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, tell him there's two.
You said you pregnant?
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
See, now this is entertainment. I think this is also why Shonta has been so upbeat in her interviews. She knew the punchline. And True, well, he thought he knew he'd got away with it.
It's more than this.
It's twins. I'm pregnant with twins.
Yo, some serious.
Let's just drink this face in for a moment. You know what this face is? It's a cautionary tale for all those man-children who remember all the lines and know all the plays. They may have emotional or financial control, but they clearly don't have self-control or birth control.
Damn, man.
And that, my finest friends, was the end of that episode. At very nearly the end of our time together this week. It is, of course, the moment where we have a little bit of wholesome that I'd like to leave you with. Today is the story of a 77-year-old man who just won't stop going. Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
It's all good, y'all. Yeah. All right, well, everybody need a little space.
On that note, my beautiful viewer, it has been a pleasure to amuse you, and I'd love it if you could like and share this video. So until we meet again, stay beautiful, love to my 3, and you take care of yourself.
Please subscribe now for a like. Thank you.